There is no doubt that the situation in Iraq is dire, that a great many people are suffering terribly, and that there is broad public support for a genuine multinational military intervention. But it didn't need to come to this, and it would not have come to this if this war hadn't been started by Australia, among others, some 11 and a half years ago. Nor would the Islamic State have grown so big so quickly if the West hadn't given the support it did to the anti-Assad Syrian rebels, out of which the Islamic State has grown. It's also of great concern that the decision to commit Australian forces at this point in time has been made by the government and by the Prime Minister virtually acting alone. Compare that with countries as diverse as the United States, France, Germany, the Netherlands, and by convention the United Kingdom, where the practice is for the Parliament to debate and to decide when to go to war, so long as time allows for such debate and decision to take place. Of course, how we helped create this mess and the poor way in which the decisions have been made up until now really are history. The challenge is to work out how to deal with the mess that has been created. And to that end, there needs to be a clearly defined mission. Our military needs to be given the resources to achieve that mission, and then they get out. You can't beat an unconventional enemy by bombing them from the air. You can bomb from the air, but you've got to have people on the ground. And in this case, it must not be Australian troops. It must be regional Islamic countries. Another important consideration is that Australia complies with international law and has some legal authority for what we're about to undertake. For that reason, it's very important that we restrict our operations to within Iraq, where we are at the invitation of the Iraqi government, which of course is one of the crucial differences between now and what happened 11 and a half years ago when we helped start this war. We must not go into other countries unless we have the imprimatur of the United Nations and ideally the request or the permission of that country. Another very important dimension of all this is the increased risk of a terrorist attack within Australia. That is understandable because every time we intervene in the Middle East, we do enrage some members of the Australian community. We need to deal with that, it's a reality. But it's also a reminder for us all not to recklessly intervene in the Middle East, that we shouldn't have intervened 11 and a half years ago. And while there is a compelling case to be made about doing something about the current situation, let's learn from history and let's not make the same mistakes again in the future.